Hey y'all, it's Jess and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be picking back up with Unlock the Jail Experiment, Season 1, Episode 6. Okay, so we pick back up with the fire alarm going off, right? And remember, because they had started that fight, well, they was in there smoking, blowing it down, and next thing you know, the fire alarm going off. So then an officer comes in and he initiates a search with the inmates because he smelled the smoke and he found some wigs. So then, dun dun dun, the sheriff puts the program on pause and they do a shakedown. So then they have to do a naked strip search as well. So I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Gotta search them down and they gotta cough and stuff. So then, they do the search, they do the shakedown, whatever. And Miss Dennis, y'all, they call that lady a bloodhound when it comes to finding hooch. Cause she got to know she gonna find some hooch. She is gonna find the hooch, and she did. She found hooch. They found contraband, and now they have to go back on lockdown. And y'all, the inmates are so mad. They was up there fussing and cussing, and I'm like, y'all did this though. Not all of y'all did that, but y'all did this though, So they very upset about that. So the sheriff has a meeting with the lieutenant and the chief. And the lieutenant, I think that was the chief, and the lieutenant, he suggests a 24-hour lockdown to reset. I'm like, okay, I think that's pretty all right. I think that it's the reset to let you know, this is what y'all had this freedom. Now you got to go back on lockdown. Remember this lockdown. Remember this. Which one do you want for real? You want the freedom or you want this? So after that, the sheriff, he's really disappointed in the inmates, and I was too. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, y'all was getting too lax, okay? Y'all was acting like nothing can happen. Y'all really, like I said in the last video, push the limits. So, the sheriff is really upset, or he's disappointed in them. And he's like, instead of removing the individuals who had the stuff, everybody's just gonna go on lockdown. Okay, this is a lockdown thing. So the sheriff wants to talk to them about this lockdown, but then he also said he wants to hold a vote after the reset and see if they want to get rid of the bad apples. Because he's like, you know what, instead of just taking away the whole program, let's just see who we can get rid of, okay? So they, there we go. So then, he suggests that, but he kind of also knows, he doesn't expect them to snitch on anyone, okay? So then the sheriff has a meeting with the inmates, and he talks about, I know about the drugs, the wig, the hooch. I know about all of that. So I'm going to give y'all an option at the end of this reset. So he tells them that they're going to do a reset, which will be a 24 hours on lockdown. Okay. And the sheriff asks, if there's anyone that shouldn't be here, we're going to hold a vote, and you guys are going to vote, and they're going to have to go. So he tells it to them. The inmates, they ain't feeling it. They mad. They feel like it's BS. But then again, it's hey, you did this. You did this. And I know they feel like some of them was they should hold that person accountable instead of everybody. But it's are y'all going to snitch and tell who it is? I doubt y'all do that. So, the inmates say, of course, again, they feel like this is BS and everybody, this is not fair. And Eastside was like, you know what, I'm not gonna make no more hooch, no wigs, and none of that stuff anymore. I don't like this. You should have thought about that before you did it. But then again, it's I don't know if they tell it, because I be wondering, are y'all telling these inmates to do this stuff, or are they just actually doing this stuff out in the open just because I'm if y'all doing this just for TV, okay, but so yeah, they're going this lockdown, and they didn't. So when they was looking at, of course, when they did the shakedown before, when they did the shakedown earlier, one of the inmates was saying that they didn't find his lighter and his stuff when they were searching. And I'm like, where the heck do you be hiding this stuff? Because I feel when you do a shakedown, you're going through everything. You know what I'm saying? But I guess you get creative on where to hide stuff. That's crazy. So anyway, they're on lockdown, and they ain't really liking it. And of course they are not liking it. I wouldn't be liking it either. And then the 24 hours is up, and they open them doors. And when I tell y'all, them folks ran out of there like a dog at a vet. They ran out of there. They was excited. They ran straight to them phones, okay? And because I think some of them had talked about how when they get out, that a lot of them were going to be happy. A lot of them were going to be happy And they probably gonna go straight to the phone. The phone's probably gonna be like booked up because they wanna they wanna talk to their loved ones. They people and stuff. So then they go to the phones and start talking, and Tiny, he calls his son to talk to him. And basically that's what keep him going, And Tiny tells him, like, you're on my visitation list and your mom as well, so you want to come visit. So honestly, it would be nice for Tiny to see his son. I would like that. I'm glad Tiny is able to talk to his son, because I know how much he I see how much he loves his son and how much he really enjoys talking to him and stuff. So it sounds like he calls him every day, which is a good thing. Good for you. Good for you. So yeah, Tiny was able to talk to him. And so then we see that we actually meet this person earlier, and his name was AJ. And AJ was cool with, I don't know the other dude's name. He was cool with him. I think they were roommates or whatever, or cellmates. But then AJ was definitely impacted by that lockdown, and the mental health lady asked, did you want to harm yourself or whatever? And he said yes. So they have to go put him on a suicide watch in solitary confinement, aka the hole. But that didn't make any sense to me either. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, clearly this lockdown, he said that the lockdown really messed with his mental. Well, one, I was kind of like, well, you were doing this before. Y'all was on this 23 and 1 lockdown kind of thing. Were you trying to harm yourself then? But I think what it was is that he got used to it, and now when he got this freedom and the freedom got taken away and it put him back in this thing, it's kind of like, ooh, so, but you take him out of this to put him back in a solitary confinement where he can't, the hole where you're literally in there by yourself and not around nobody. So like, is he just gonna be locked up by himself? Like, I was thinking, like, well, wouldn't that still hurt his mental? Because if that impacted him being on lockdown, you're basically sending him back to a lockdown, unless I'm wrong. I don't know, but that's what I was thinking. I was like, that doesn't make any logical sense to me, to put him back in a lockdown only to continue to mess with his mental. So because apparently we found out when he first got there, he tried to commit suicide. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, and to put him back by himself? Oh, I don't know about that. But anyway, so he has some mental health issues, and he's facing a life sentence for murder. So they showed like a clip of somebody getting killed in a hospital who was visiting a patient, and he opened fire at the hospital. That was him, y'all. That was him. I'm like, oh goodness. Yeah. I'ma just leave that where it's at. That's sad that you just go to a hospital. And anyway, let's move on. So then we get to where True holds a meeting, okay? And he talks about how he don't want to go on lockdown anymore. And I'm sure a lot of them folks don't want to go on lockdown anymore. But then you're going to have them individuals that's just like, it is what it is. I don't even really care. Okay? I don't care. So, yeah, True was like, they talk about not going on lockdown anymore, how they didn't like it. And it's so funny. Here we go again. The young ones feel like the old heads got them on lockdown. And then the old heads feel like the young ones got them on lockdown. And it's like, because I think they talked about, squirrel. They find a squirrel hooch. But I'm like, but then y'all was in there smoking. Okay? Yes, squirrel, the old head had hooch. Yes, y'all was over there smoking. Y'all had hooch too. Okay? Everybody had a play in this part. To me, they did. So then they talk about the vote. And nobody wants to get voted out, right? Of course not. You got a gun in there. They don't want to get voted out. So then we go to day 29. And the chief and Miss Dennis enter the pod for their votes, which is anonymous. And Ty feels like True is going to get voted off because they don't want him there. But then also Eastside is kind of worried that, he would get voted out because he was the one that initiated. I'm glad he said that. His words. Eastside was the one that initiated it. And so Ty was like, it could be a possibility that Eastside could go. I don't think anybody is going to go, in my opinion. I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I just don't think that anybody's going to go. And then, you know, True was like, you know, I didn't vote for nobody. And apparently some of them didn't vote for anyone. They was like, I put NA. Of course, they're not going to snitch. But then you got some of the people that was saying, that was like, I didn't vote for nobody. But then you was also saying, just get rid of the ones, like the bad, like get rid of the ones that did it. How we going to do that if you don't vote? But okay, I get it. Snitches get stitches. That's what they say. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for joining me. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.